It is finally here. The new benchmark version 1.1 is available for download. The link will be in the description of this video if you want to go grab this. But essentially, it's basically replaced the previous download. If you go all the way to the bottom, there will be your download button. And you'll have to agree to their terms and conditions. And then it will start to download. Let's get cracking then. And there we go, installed and ready to go. If you need to change any of your settings, such as your graphic settings, or if you want to make sure that it's on maximum, you click the cog and basically go and make sure that's on maximum or whatever you want to test it to. Also the display settings, make sure it's your actual resolution and is also windowed or windowed borderless. I think we'll go for windowed borderless for this particular thingy. And also, if you don't want to be blasted by sound, make sure you adjust your sound levels. The other section does have some interesting things, especially if you want to get pictures as well. You can actually disable all of the information from the benchmark later. Anyway, first of all, let's go into character creation and see what has changed. Straight off the bat then, here we are in the new character creation menu. So this is very similar to what we had last time. We got our pre-made over there. Let's see if we can change this. Right, I need to actually import that data, which I can totally do. But we can go to create character then. This is the thing that's interesting everyone at the moment, is how things look. So the first thing you might also notice just off the bat is the way that the vignette is missing. So typically the writing for the text as well as around the sides of the screen would be darkened, similar to limb darkening. As you can see in some of lighting situations, that has been removed from the game, and that's already, I think, quite a nice change, a subtle change. You will also notice that the blue light on the character has gone as well. They've got rid of that. They've still got the ether background here, but as it changes, it's moving light around this area. You can see light changing across the character with subtle hits, but at the same time, for the most part, it is more natural light rather than the blue light that was plaguing it previously, especially if we turn there. There's a slight hue change, but it's a lot less drastic. On other scenarios then, other areas, wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. Well, that's 10 times better already. 10 times better. The lighting has been definitely addressed. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. The Linosia option then looking especially good. You'll also notice that it's the clouds as well. It's the shadows from the clouds that have basically been removed. And the way they've done that is they've just paused the clouds, I think. I think it's just in a permanent situation now rather than moving across the sky, which is less realistic. We get that, but it means you're not going to have these weird shadows on your character. And this is more reflective of what the character would look like in the game, right? And you've still got your shadows, how they typically would work before. They have toned them down a little bit, I've noticed. Like with certain pieces of hair, we can probably see that better when we get up close. Other environments then, just quickly. Oh, wow. That is a drastic change. Usually the Gridanian one is so heavily covered in shadow. Look at those soft shadows there. Interesting. Yeah, that's really nice. The lighting has been made a lot better. Then, of course, we've got Uldar in the Thanalan area. Yeah, this was typically one of the worst ways to show your character before. A lot of people took the picture with the sun behind them, or at least the light behind them, like that zoomed in, and it made their face look, well, shallow and weirdly, like, I don't know, like they were under a spotlight or something, like some weird music video. But yeah, that looks better now, doesn't it? There's a lot less shade, but I don't know, is there a lot less shadow actually being cast on the face, or it's slightly less? Yeah, there's still a lot of light, so you can still see the features. I just think the lighting has been fixed so much. Oh wow. That's better. Nice dark environment. That's what it should look like. There is obviously the other options they've added as well, such as time of day. Previously, this ether background didn't have a time of day change, but if you click the clock, you can actually change this. I think it should be able to change. It's not changing. Ah, there we go. Hold on. Ah, so we can have like the shaded version, or we could just have it permanently lit, right, from a certain direction, which is similar to how you would have in a photo studio. I thought it was going to change the background, but it just changes the way that the lighting hits on you. So there's lighting 1, which I guess is more realistic, right? Yeah, with the colors. Yeah, very nice. And then lighting 2, which is less realistic, but gives you a better idea of just straight up light rather than blue light, right? So you're not having that blue filter. Really, really cool stuff. I think for the most part, it's going to look the same. This is obviously nighttime now. Yeah, I think things are looking a lot better than they were, personally. I don't know. Maybe you're looking at this and going, I don't see what's different. But I can assure you that does look significantly different. Especially with like moonlight and things like that. That's nice. And then obviously in a residence, yeah, you can't change the time of day. Right, now let's the environments out of the way. Let's look at things that were annoying before for people. First of all, Mikote. Let's start with Mikote. Let's go straight into it. Let's go confirm. And let's go Mooncat. So the first thing you'll notice with, how do we get to it? I suppose we could do it on the mouth option. We might have to do like an emote or something to get her to open her mouth, right? Let's see. What can we do? Yeah, the Fangies are back. I know it's a bit difficult to see, but the fangs are much more pronounced again. Amazing. Sorry, I zoomed in quite a lot there. It was quite motion sickness inducing. Overall though, I would say, let's put this in an area well lit, right? That's what you usually do. Wow. Okay, the hair looks way better. So before there were like patches on the side of a character's hair, especially with some hairstyles. I mean, this is the hairstyle I would typically use on my character, actually. The one that's defaulted here too. And it was usually like the seams between the two sets of hair. This is a lot better. A lot better. Yeah, that's a night and day increase. I like that. Very good job. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with this, actually. Other things that were annoying then, obviously with Aura, right? Let's get our Aura character. Let's make them a Rayanne. And I believe it was the neckline, wasn't it? Yeah, so they fixed the neckline, as far as I can tell, at least. Ooh, that's an attack animation. Let's have a look at that again. I think that's the one. Yeah, they've got rid of the seam, so they've addressed that. Horns look the same. Wow, I think it's the eyes that look so much better. I think they've really sort of found a happy medium between the overly 3D eyes and then the 2D eyes, right? They look less dead, even in shade now. This looks so much better. So much better as light goes around there. You've still got that reflection mapping, things like that, the SSR. Yeah, this is so much better. Just check the small clothes out for a second. Let's see. No seams to be seen. Don't see any seams. Because before there were a few issues with the back. Oh, I don't see anything, actually. Very good. They've done a really good QA pass on this. Very pleased. What else was there? There was obviously with Horthgar, right? Right, Horthgar. So let's see. How are they looking now? Okay. Looking pretty good, honestly. I don't see any major issues. Let's have a look up close and personal with the face option. Yeah, I think everything looks night and day better. It's hard to put into sort of words exactly what has changed. But I think lighting itself has made the biggest difference in this update. And they said that this is going to apply to actual Dawntrail as well. So, you know, this was a big deal, a real big deal. Looks way better, way better. All right, let's go through a couple more examples then. I'm trying to think if it was anything on Ellison that I remember being an issue. Not that I remember. It was just mostly like faces in darkness, realistically. Yeah, that looks so much better. So much better. The hair quality across the board is so much better as well. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that looks really good with the moonlight. Oh, you can see like the moon tracing across the eyelet. Excellent stuff. Another thing as I'm obviously going through this that I noticed is I went back to Mikote and went to obviously Keepers of the Sun, which is what I play. And I noticed that the face markings now, I think on all cats in general, all Mikote, are a lot less subtle. So one of the things that they were criticized at Square Enix by people giving feedback was that they had made the markings of characters' faces far too subtle. And it's really nice to see how vibrant those markings are now. Look at those. They're a lot more there and in your face, and they don't look quite as like just like bits of plastic. They look properly painted on. You know, like you can see the fading. Much better, way better. I'm a massive fan of that. I don't have the face markings myself for my character, but look at that. That is so much better. I'm very pleased with that. Another thing people have noticed, I've read online, is that Viera Noses have changed. It's had a little bit more of a revert back to how noses used to be. So they're a lot more pronounced, like actual rabbit noses, so to speak. I don't know how else to explain that. I think a lot of people who missed their previous nose on their character will be happy. Yeah, looks pretty good, doesn't it? Looks pretty good. In terms of presets, and then in terms of nose types as well. Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Nice. One thing I did notice whilst looking at male Horthgar is there is actually a couple of seams visible. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if this will be something that gets changed in the future. I don't know if you can see this actually on the video, but I can see it. Around the shoulders, where it joins to the chest, there's one where the textures don't quite line up either. So you've got a seam that runs down. You have it on the other side. You probably didn't see that before I mentioned it, which I'm sorry. I do apologize. And it runs around the back as well. It's not as noticeable, probably, as some of the other seams that we have seen. But, yeah, if you ever wanted to wear a piece of gear on your Horthgar that, you know, didn't have a top or had some specific, you know, elaborate setup that didn't cover this section, you're probably going to notice it, right? You're probably going to notice it. And yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying, you know, but in the race clothes. Thing is, even in the race clothes, you're going to see it, right? That's the thing. Like the race specific gear. Yeah, you can still see the seam. So that's one issue I would say would be a point of contention. It would be nice to have that seam fixed up. It is entirely possible for them to do so. So hopefully we can provide feedback for that. But yeah, it is very much noticeable when your character is naked, obviously. But a lot of the gear does have exposed muscles, and yeah, if you're a male character, you're probably going to see this quite a bit. That's rather annoying, isn't it? But still, the overall changes, though, to a lot of races have been very positive. One thing I really like, especially, is the way that lips look like now. I mean, it's hard for me to give you the perfect demonstration immediately. Let's just go up close. like the lips, the way that they shine, but also have like a detail on them, like the cracks, like what do you call them, the seams, at the same time as the shine. It's so much better than it was previously in the other benchmark. Like drastically different, massively different. At least I can tell the difference, and that's on every race. So yeah, looking really, really good. I do like the lighting. The world feels like there's less contrast in it, if that makes sense. Like the actual world itself, it does feel like we are in the game. Like it actually feels like we're in a game. So I think this is a way better representation of what the game looks like on the actual character creator, which is obviously the way it should be. There are so many games that fail to do that, though, where, you know, character creator in an MMORPG does not represent what your character looks like, especially like Black Desert, things like that. Something that goes far too far in one direction to make it look really pretty in a certain menu. And then you go into the game, and then it's just like, whoa, that's a completely different character. Yeah, they've done some really good job, especially with eyes. Eyes have definitely increased. Horns are looking good. Yeah, really impressed so far. All right, we must look at Lalafell because I've heard a rumor that there's a certain issue with Lalafell. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, take its clothes off. I do apologize. I know no one wants to see that. However, you might notice something immediately. Yeah, the neck seam. So it looks like Lalafell's have a bit of an issue across the board. It doesn't matter what Lalafell it is. I don't know if this is because there's like a texture difference or something, but you can very clearly see a seam that goes around the back and around the front of the character. Although the shadows aren't exactly helping me demonstrate that, but it is very noticeable. Very, very noticeable. Probably less noticeable there. Yeah, it's yeah, see, look. So it kind of looks like Lalafell's had the head just like stuck on, like some kind of doll. I don't know if that's... surely it's not intentional, right? There's no way that that's an intentional change. And it applies to Plainsfolk as well, because that was a Dunes folk. Let's see, face, and then zoom in. Yeah, you see, look, there's a seam there. I think the best demonstration was actually here, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I don't know if this is something that will be addressed, and I imagine it will be because it's something that, you know, affects everybody who wears armor in the game, because not everything will cover this line, right? Some things are like down in a V shape or whatever kind of, you know, you don't need me to tell you that you're going to see this. Even with something like this, it's got quite a nice collar, you can still see that seam, right? You can still see that joiner's mark. Overall, though, the rest of the face is great. Like, I know we're nitpicking here, but that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go, oh, well, this isn't something I like. This is something that probably needs to be changed, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So it's not like we're pooping on the game or anything like that. We're just being honest. But the faces are beautiful. They've done a really good job across the board. Eyes are way better. The face structure is nice. Like the lines. Looking really good. I'm really impressed, actually. Yeah, so much higher quality. You also notice the noses are somewhat reverted as well to how they used to be. So there's a little bit of like a join of what's new and then what's old, and they've basically taken like best of both worlds, I think. Yeah, cool stuff. And then to top off character creation, let's actually look at my own character then, because honestly, I think this is going to be the most, you know, noticeable thing for me, and probably if you watch my videos. So this is Meoni in the new version. Wow, that's how she is currently in the game. So it's just a straight up copy and paste. So this is the this is kind of like the reaction I was looking for the first time around. Whoa. Oh, that's so much better. She doesn't look quite as confused, I think it's fair to say. Yeah. That's the thing with some cats, or any of the characters actually now, is that when you go into the shade, they don't suddenly get this strange lighting. And with hair that's as white as this, obviously it's going to be very highly saturated, but the detailing on the hair has definitely increased. Yeah, really, really pleased with that. Yeah, my character looks cute again. Woo! Awesome. I think the eyes are fantastic. That like glassy sort of globe. Yeah, that's how it should be. Really, really impressed, actually. I don't think there are any issues with Miko's in terms of like seams or anything. So I think we got lucky on that one. The old head joining the body seam club. I don't think we've joined that one yet, which I'm grateful for. But yeah, really cool. I'm personally very pleased. This looks exactly how you would want to see it in a game. Hopefully it does, right? But I think that the changes they've made both to the actual character creator itself and of course to the actual characters based on feedback are not perfect, but they are close to being, right? Obviously they've got a few other issues to tie up and I'm sure they'll address those. I'm sure people will make their own feedback reports and things. But yeah, really, really pleased. The only thing left to do now is run the actual benchmark itself and see if there are any noticeable changes. So let's commentate over that and have a look. Alrighty then, let's see what we get in terms of graphical changes. If there's anything that noticeable that I can pick out. I would imagine that it will be noticeable in terms of like texture qualities, especially on characters, because anything that happened to, you know, the change of a character creator is being reflected in the game, and for all intents and purposes, this is the game. Yeah, that looks way better. Yeah, the way that the shadows, yeah, so much better. I think it is so much more reflective of what the in-game is going to look like, which is something that should have always been the case, but that looks so much better. It really does. I think the next bit's going to be interesting because it's in the forest, isn't it? That'll be the best way to, you know, notice the shadows especially. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's such a glow up. Look at that. I look less sort of ghostly. I look like I have more emotion. Oh wow, look at the chocobo. I think the chocobo's been upgraded. Oh yeah, it definitely has. Whoa, look at the all of that, like, well, I was going to say fur, but it's feathers. That seems to be higher res than it was before, no? Wow. Looking good, honestly. I think we'll just let this play out. Might as well, right? There might be something we miss if we don't. But yeah. I'm glad they did these fixes, I really am. It was sorely needed. The Malboro. Everything does feel a little bit more crisp. I don't know why. I don't know if that's... I don't know what exactly... Maybe it's just me. Oh yeah, the close-ups of your character are way better now. Nice. That's one dead snake. More dead snakes, please. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get much because most of this is action-packed now. Oh, you can actually tell. You can actually tell even on the NPC faces, look. Well, not the ones with the masks. Oh, that's so much better. Those few close-ups that we had. Wow, look at Kryl. There. Oh yeah, the way the lighting is behind the character, but isn't casting too much shade on the front. Yes, that's what we wanted. Nice. I mean, this just infinitely looks like a way better version of the game. If we had had this the first time around, I would have been even more flawed than I was. But honestly, what they've done at Square Enix and the attention to detail and the reaction to feedback and the transparency on that has been really, really refreshing. Really refreshing. Very pleased. Glowy boys, birdie boys. Lots of yeah, there's not really many close-ups until the killing blow, is there? That's interesting. The way that the light from spell effects isn't making my face just look overtly pale now. They've toned that down a bit. That's something that you will notice if you go to the gold saucer and you do the jumping puzzle. At the top, there's a spotlight. And if you put the spotlight right above your character, your face just goes bright white. But I don't think it will anymore. Look at that. I think that's the perfect time to have like a screenshot comparison because it's that exact frame that's going to be different. So I thought it would be a really good idea actually to compare those pictures. So on the right side we have what it was before, right? So these are obviously from the previous iteration of the benchmark, and these are obviously from the new version of the benchmark. So first of all, we've got this difference. Look at that. Look at that difference. That's insane. So in the new version, obviously, there's a lot less, covering your face with shadows. She looks a little bit less menacing. And then on the original version, you've got all of this extra shadow, which, it's cool, but it does make your character look more, it makes a character face look flat, right, in shade. Whereas this allows for all of those extra lines to be brought out. I do like the difference, actually. I do like the left side, which is the updated version. And you can see the same here. Ignore the fact it's in 2 different resolutions. It doesn't matter, does it? But you'll notice, like, on the original version of the benchmark, yeah. And then there's this version, the new version. I don't know. Which do you prefer? Personally, I think that the new version is 10 times better. It's subtle, but it's better. But yeah, really cool. Really, really cool. I'm happy with that. And you can see in all of these characters' faces in the background here. Yeah, my character actually looks like my character again, but with a massive glow up. And I think a lot of people will find the same thing. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. Are you happy with the changes? Or are there still things that you yourself would like to change? Who knows? Maybe we can get them changed before the release. Anyway, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.